Members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Today I am here before you to speak of the war that has gone unnoticed by too many. A war against the Iranian people by an occupying regime. It is a war that has been going on for 47 years. A war in which the regime just slaughtered 40,000 civilians. And a war in which there is no ceasefire. After years of repression, in January, millions of Iranians rose up. Tens of thousands died. But they did not die for a nuclear deal. They did not die for reform and more of the same. They died for freedom and to reclaim their country. The international media speak of the latest twists and turns of so-called diplomacy, ceasefires, negotiations, deals, but ignores the facts on the ground. A generational revolt, the most profound uprising in Iran since 1979, uniting all Iranians across each of our 31 provinces, and in more than 450 cities, and yes, even elements within the state apparatus itself. When legitimacy dies, power begins to crumble. As Chancellor Merz declared, if a regime can only hold onto power through sheer violence and terror against its own population, its days are numbered. The question is not whether change will come. Change is on the way. The real question is how many Iranians will lose their lives while the community of Western democracies continue to merely watch. As we speak, atrocities are still unfolding that the world cannot see because the regime has blocked internet access while silencing the witnesses. Its operatives hunted wounded protesters in hospitals and executed them in cold blood. Bodies were collected by dump trucks. Families searched through rows of unmarked body bags. 40,000. The number is too large to comprehend, too abstract. So let me tell you just one of their stories. Saleheh Akbari was a 38-year-old nurse during the January uprising. She and her husband, Ahmad Khodai, opened their home to wounded protesters, people too terrified to go to the hospitals because the regime was hunting them down. They treated the injured, they hid them, they saved lives. A few days later, regime agents stormed in. Saleheh threw herself between them and her husband. They shot her point blank in the heart, in front of him and their young child. She died in his arms. But then came the unspeakable. Agents who had recuperated her body raped her corpse, photographed the desecration, and sent the images to Ahmad as psychological torture. Broken by grief, he posted a final goodbye on Instagram and attempted to take his own life. Arya Ali Doust, 23 years old, wanted to pursue a career in real estate until the regime killed him in the January protests. His mother is here with us today. Sam Afshari, almost 17, was a champion swimmer. The regime also murdered him in the January protests. His father is here with us today. Mr. Afshari and Mrs. Ali Doust will be here with me after I take your questions. and I hope you will speak with them too. I urge you to listen to them. There are more. In the last 2 weeks, 19 political prisoners have been executed. So let me ask you, do any of you know their names? Have any of you written articles about them? Have you looked into this at all? I read in your newspapers about the tragedies of war. But what of the regime's crimes against my compatriots? It is committing crimes against humanity as we speak. Will the free world do something or watch the slaughter in silence? There are people waiting for the answer. Their lives are literally on the line. As we speak, 20 political prisoners have been sentenced to death and are awaiting execution. Do you know about them? Will you conduct investigation into their shame trials? Each of them is from the January 8th and 9th protests. These 20 people and millions more are waiting to see whether you care about their lives enough to do anything about it. Will you? I want to speak directly to the journalists in this room. The regime has maintained an internet blackout exceeding 1,200 hours, 8 weeks of enforced silence. The Iranian people cannot call their families, cannot document what is being done to them, cannot show the world the crimes committed in their streets. Meanwhile, regime officials appear freely on your networks, post on your platforms, and offer their version of events to your audiences, unchallenged, uncontested, unopposed. You are the only free press the Iranian people have right now. What you choose to cover and how you choose to cover it will determine whether the world sees this revolution clearly or through the fog the regime is deliberately generating. It can literally determine whether innocent people live or die. I am asking you, as journalists, as professionals who understand what a free press is for, to tell their stories. In Germany, you know all too well the danger of dehumanization. Do not allow Iranians to be dehumanized. They are people. They are brave people. They deserve for their story to be told. President Zelensky told me recently, the world did not help the Iranian people enough. It stood aside, and by the time politicians began forming positions, the Ayatollah had already killed thousands. He warned that brutality, rewarded with survival, sends one signal to every bully: kill enough people and you stay in power. And yet, here we are again, on the cusp of the same catastrophic mistake. There are many regime propagandists in the West who are calling the regime's negotiators reasonable, moderate, people with whom we can do business. But Ghalibaf and Araghchi are not pragmatists. They are not reformers, nor are the IRGC killers behind the curtains. They are different faces of the same machine that shot Saleh Akbari in the heart. They are the ones who will execute these 20 people I just told you about. Yet you call them pragmatists. Let me tell you, the execution of my people is not pragmatic, nor is the blackmail the regime is threatening you and the world with. If you think you can make peace with this regime, you are sorely mistaken. If you allow it to survive, further conflict is unavoidable. There will never be